All right, so we have
Hey, Scott.
Scott and Anthony from Capstan. Capstan are one of my favorite like melodic hardcore progressive rock bands of all time. So it's like a huge honor to be doing this. That I got this opportunity. This is Suburban Home at home. This is episode I don't know what at this point, and Uh, yeah, my name's Justin Fisher, or Fish if you want to call me that. And I'm with Anthony and Scott from Capstan. Um, yeah, they're from Orlando, Florida. If you've never heard of them, again, post-hardcore and rock hardcore and just whatever else. And they just released a great EP called Nulla on Fearless Records. And you gotta check it out. Four perfect songs, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that, a little bit about their beginnings, and just like everything else. So, uh, yeah, let's just start. Um, how are you guys, and what have you been watching or listening to as of recent?
Yo, thank you so much, Justin. It has been a busy year for us dropping that EP, and we got a lot more on the way. But I recently just started watching a show called Silo, and I'm like right in the middle of that right now. So that's about it for me at the moment.
Yeah,
Recommendation from Scott.
yeah, he kind of just stole my thunder. That
Oh
was
no.
my recommendation, and I stole that from our guitar player. So it's just being recycled around a little bit.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Um, so when did Capstan form, and just how did you guys meet?
So I can take this one, Anthony.
Okay.
So we started in 2012, kind of. So a long time ago, kinda though. It was mostly just like a recording project while everyone was in school. And as the time went, we kind of just became more and more serious. I think we were pretty much like a full time, like we're gonna really pursue it. We decided that in like 2014, 20 or 2015, somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously, like we've released a lot of music, done quite a bit of touring. Um, but yeah, it's all been all in good fun.
For
Yeah, it was
sure.
pretty cool too. I was introduced to Scott through our guitar player Harrison. They had known each other beforehand, so we became friends pretty quickly. And as the band grew, um, we just continued to embrace it. And I mean, we've always been about writing music and playing music, so it has definitely been a wonderful journey.
That's awesome. And yeah, that's just exactly what a band should be, is all good fun and friends and all that. So
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So have you guys had any lineup changes at all?
Um,
Uh,
not not since we've been like a serious band, really.
Yeah, that's good. So you guys have changed styles quite a bit, as you know most bands will do. Going from a more straightforward melodic hardcore style on releases such as Cultural Divide, to a more progressive, like experimental hardcore sound in I don't even know like when I'd say that started, maybe in the wake of our Discord, or even like Rascal's Heart Keep Running. But I would say that definitely started on Separate. Um, would you be able to talk about that? How your influences uh changed, and all that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's mostly just like we kind of have this approach to every record and every EP, whatever, and it's kind of like whatever we're into at the time. Writing like cultural and and then by extension in the wake, we kind of like it was just kind of the post-hardcore direction we wanted to take. And I mean, before that, we were doing like kind of more like pop punkish kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, even the shift to being like a post-hardcore band and then moving into being more progressive, and then back to being like less progressive. That's it's all just like what are we what are we listening to at the time? What's kind of like what are we feeling, you know? So it's always an ever changing fluid experience.
Yeah, I also feel to add to that is that like whatever was going on in our lives at the time kind of really pushed our music in specific directions, I'd say. And as we grew as people through those experiences and as we grew together as musicians, I feel that the music has really evolved to I guess more of a mature sound, like especially like you mentioned pop punk. Like we were just, I mean, weren't necessarily kids, but we were young in school, didn't really have anything to care about, and as we grew as people and responsibilities and lifestyles changed, I have a feeling that it kind of took our music on a journey just as much as it did us as people.
Yeah, that's a great response. Um, so, like I said, Capstan released Nulla last week on Fearless Records, preceded by 3 singles, if I'm not mistaken, that included Heart to Heart, which features Jason from Belmont. That's probably like one of my new favorite Capstan songs right now. Like it's been on repeat. And yeah, let's just talk about a little bit about CP and the collabs. So how do you go about those collabs? You've had Trash Boat, you've had of course on Separate you had Shane Told from Silverstein, and you had Gospel Rose, uh, and of course Jason from Belmont. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you go about those collabs.
Uh,
Absolutely. Actually, on Heart to Heart, we also have Taz from Belmont as well. He's in the second verse. Um, but them being they're our really good friends, and when we were creating this record, we were talking. We're like, hey, is there any song that they might sound great on, or we can include them in this, and just having Jason want to do a guitar solo on the record and have Taz fit the part that he did so perfectly. We were like, why not? Let's reach out. Let's ask. I mean, and that's just for that. And then obviously, I mean, it's kind of like a homie thing. Like we're friends with these people, so it's like we would love for you to be on the music that we created. So we would just always reach out.
yeah, I mean most of the features we've done in over our career, are people we've toured with, or just is it's never been like a oh let's get this person that we don't know, and it's never been that. It's always been like let's put our homies on it and kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's something I noticed. Yeah, I love that, and it's cool too with the Silverstein one, the Silverstein feature on Separate. Um, like I know you guys have toured with them. The first time you guys came to Winnipeg, um, you played with Silverstein at the Garrick. Um, but also I feel like Shane Told is one of those guys who will just kind of work with like everybody, since he has that podcast where he kind of just features everybody. And Shane Told is just, he seems really open minded to me, and that's something I like about him.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Like he's just really down to earth, like no ego at all. Just a really good dude.
Yeah, it was cool too when we asked him about the feature. He was like, yeah, I'm down, but let me hear the song. I want to see if I'm vibing with it. Then why not? And he did like it, and we ended up getting the feature, which was pretty cool. You know, I like the fact that, like, you know, it's work. So if someone doesn't vibe with it, or it's not, you know, up to what they would like too, that, you know, there's always the chance to be like, yeah, not really feeling that one, but he was stoked on it, and I love that song. It was a great song on that record to have him on for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So on this new EP, was there a goal in terms of direction that you guys had, and do you guys think you accomplished it?
Yeah, I like I can't talk too much about the future, but like it, so there's a lot more coming in the coming days or weeks and months. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's more of like we kind of went into this with the idea behind these four tracks, where it was kind of like we're not going to try to write anything. We're not going to try to like approach music from a like let's try to make all of our songs sound like this. Um or you know, let's try to make it like everything's being similar, right? This is more, it more came from like let's write whatever we feel is right, and then like if it's good enough, then we'll just release it. Like so that's why
Yeah.
like there's a stark difference between like Bet Noir and Heart to Heart, and then Bloom and Arrows. Like they're starkly different, and that was intentional. It's just like what's the kind of vibe, do we like the song, and yeah, there's a lot more diversity where that came from too. So it's just writing the stuff we are feeling, just like I was saying before, and it just so happens that these songs are all very different.
Right. I feel that we do pick lanes within the songs, though. You know what I mean? Like what the song is, what it is. We're not like flying everywhere with it. That's the difference, in my opinion, in the writing, rather than like smashing all of a bunch of genres into one song. I feel the songs, as diverse as they are, they all pick their lane within the song, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Um, you know, like I do feel like there is bands, uh, like you said, that do uh try to put too much into one song. Not gonna name names or anything, but um, but I feel like, again, like you guys said, you guys have a really good way, especially on albums and releases like Separate, where you'll choose kind of like an influence or like a sound and like kind of go with it. Like on Separate, you have Take My Breath Away, News, where it has like that funky kind of groove jam thing. And then you have, you know, songs like uh, the one with Axl Rose, um, you know, much more of a emotive, like sad kind of song that goes right into like the emotional hardcore part at the end. Like I love that dynamic, and and then there's obviously the more progressive, like gentler songs on there, like Shades of Us as well.
Right.
Um, yeah, I I love that I love the dynamic that you guys have on all your releases, and this one especially.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, thank
No
you.
problem. Um, so in terms of production, songwriting, etc., was there anything that you guys did differently or familiar compared to previous releases?
Yeah, it's always like there's always like a difference in approach, really. This time it was like we self-produced everything, so um we kind of like when we had ideas for songs, like we kind of bounced them around, and then kind of like got what we wanted the song to be, and then from there, like again, we self-recorded and had it mixed and mastered by Chris Crummett in Portland, I think. Is he in Portland,
Yeah,
Anthony?
I think he's in Portland. I think so.
Yeah. So he mixed and mastered everything, but we totally like self-recorded, self-produced, except for on, I think on Bet Noir, Brian from Belmont also produced that one.
Hmm.
But yeah, again, it's like it's just the difference in it's kind of like the most organic way that we go about it at the time. So like this time it just happened to be more of like us sitting in a room together, like writing stuff out, not like necessarily with our instruments, but more of like you know, uh getting ideas and vibes down and then working on it ourselves and then bringing it back to the table, kind of like a rinse and repeat type approach. But yeah, it was a lot of fun being able to like sit in the studio and okay, like let's put an 808 part here. Like who knows? And it just allowed us to be very creative.
Yeah, for sure. So when you guys say you guys self-produced this time, um, did did you guys have a producer on everything else before, helping you guys?
Yeah, kind of. So like Restless Heart Keep Running was recorded by Andrew Wade, who
Okay.
is an excellent producer. I don't know if you, yeah, he's an excellent producer. Separate was recorded and produced by Machine,
Mm.
who is out of Austin. He's like he has like a crazy resume. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the other track, the EPs were produced by Seth Henderson in Crown Point, Indiana. So like they're all stylistically very different, and that came through on the records. But during that time, we learned a lot about like, obviously Harry's like a Pro Tools wizard. Joe Joe's really good with Reaper and like yeah, so we all just got really good at one thing, and then we all threw it together.
That that that's awesome. Um, yeah, it's always good to have like people in your band that are really good with working with engineering software. Um, you know, uh, I know that because uh, me and my guitarist in my band, uh, I went to an audio engineering school, and then my guitarist, he just lives on FL Studio, like making songs freaking all day when he's not going to school. So, I know that, like I know that feel when you have someone or a few people in your band that that are experienced with working with software like that. Like it helps so much.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It also it's a double-edged sword. Like it lets you make the best product, right? But like it also gives you infinite revisions, and then it's like at one point,
Yeah, you
it's
go
just
too
like
far.
I think we're done with this one
yeah,
now.
you
We have
got
to be.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, that's so relatable. That's funny. So who's your main lyricist or uh, songwriter in your band? And can you talk about some of the lyrical inspiration on Nulla?
yeah. So the main songwriter and like lyricist is Joe on this record. I think Harry also
Main
wrote a
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Harry also wrote quite a bit. I wrote quite a bit of the instrumentals as well as Joe. So it's kind of again, it's like a real big mix of like kind of how how it all is put together. But
Yeah.
the lyrically, kind of the the direction is kind of a growth from what Separate was. So it's a much more this EP is much more positive. And I mean there's still some negative stuff, like obviously I Bet Noir is a very dark song. Um,
Yeah.
but in general it's more about like growing from trauma and like bettering yourself through the love of other people and being grateful for that. That's kind of like it's a moving on from Separate into something better, right? So that's kind of the direction.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, awesome. Um, just from both of you guys, what are your favorite moments or favorite songs on the EP?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say personally, I feel that Bloom is my favorite track. I love Piano. I think it's just beautifully written, and the lyrics of choice are something that I feel like very deep in myself. You're only here for so long, so whatever it is that you need to do or can do to push yourself towards happiness is something that is always worth exploring.
Yeah, I do love Bloom. It's so hard to really pick a song. I love them all, you know.
Yeah, it's like
But
picking a favorite child.
yeah, right. And yeah, I personally I think like Bloom is probably my favorite, just because of like the art itself and like the lyrics, like Anthony was saying. But I do love playing Bet Noir. Like as I've had to like, you know, teach myself to get in performance shape for it. It's been a challenging one, and it's so fun. So it's like it's gonna go super hard live. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
I'm
I do love performing that song as well.
I'm really excited to see that one live if you guys come to Winnipeg again. Yeah, I'll be singing front row like all the lyrics.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
we gotta get back. We love Winnipeg. I
I know
like
Winnipeg's our favorite.
it's so sick. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way your vocals and Andrew vocals like come together. It's like they're just amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like on everything you guys do, but especially this song, like it's up there with The Wreath and the Fall or harmonies wise and all that. Yeah,
Awesome, man. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. So how has the reception been from old and new fans alike?
Honestly, I feel like it's been pretty good. Um, there's a lot more content for this coming out than we have had in the past, and I feel that we've probably actually captured some more people than we normally do. But as far as the reception, I feel that it's been pretty great.
Yeah, same. People seem to like it, even though it's kind of like, nothing is really the same, and it's not like you're getting like with the EP, you're getting four totally different tracks. And I realize that can turn people off sometimes. But it's whatever. Like we love it as musicians, and people seem to like it too. So whatever. We're just keeping it going, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. If someone's liking it and you know I like it, and if you guys are liking it, then that's all that matters.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have just a few like I guess miscellaneous questions. Kind of relating to the band still though. Before we wrap up. Uh, so what are some of your favorite shows or tours that you guys have ever played?
Well, I'm gonna go right off the bat and say that when we were on the run with Set It Off, and they ended up getting stuck in, I
Mm,
think it was North Dakota.
Yeah, they're in
that
Fargo.
sounds
Or
right.
they
They
played
were in
Yeah.
Fargo,
Fargo,
and they allowed us to go on and play Winnipeg at I can't remember the name of the venue, but that was
Park
probably one of
Theater.
my favorite shows because so many people showed up, and it was just out of nowhere, and it was rowdy and very fun.
yeah, that show was unreal. Like because like we lost the headliner, and then everyone in Winnipeg was like, "No, still come through. We'll re." So we booked the show, like, and then packed it out in like, a couple hours. So it was
Yeah, it
so
was
sick.
quick.
Like, yeah, that was a really cool show.
And I really enjoyed as well when we played with Trash Boat in London, because that was their hometown. That was a pretty crazy show too.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
drank so much liquor that night. Oof.
Yeah, so I'll add on to that Park Theater show, the Winnipeg show, that my friends in A Grizzly Fate
Hmm.
were added, I think, last minute to that bill. Um and they still talk about it with me, and like
Yeah, that it was. I remember them. Yeah, I think what is his name? James is
James,
James? Is
the
he?
singer, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We like we still like I still see him chatting and like I respond to him every time I see him on the internet or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's the homies, man, homies.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, their lineup has changed a little bit, but you guys should definitely get them on a bill again. That would be really freaking sick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Anytime
but
we're
we
if we're headlining in Winnipeg, it's on.
yeah, for sure. And we have some other really freaking sick, like, you know, post hardcore ish bands too. That would be really sick on a Capstan bill. So yeah.
Awesome.
Sick.
Yeah. I'll just finish this off with like one other question that I never get to ask anybody. Pretty much like I've only ever asked I think one other person, and it was Jason Hook from Five Finger Death Punch. And it's just because this is such like I guess like a niche question. Like you'll understand once I ask it. Um, but it does apply to you. So you guys appeared in Rock Band 4 as downloadable content back in 2021 with Take My Breath Away News. What was your guys' reaction to getting that honor?
Yeah, so I that was like I grew up playing like Guitar Hero and stuff like that. So like super sick. And what I really appreciated about it was that like there's some things that are very low in the mix. Particularly on the drums, I can't really speak to anything else. That that you can't really they're really low in the mix, but they still got it right when they were notating it. So
Yeah.
like yeah, there's
It's
like
insane.
it's sick. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I kind of had that thought where I'm like, wait, are songs in this? Is this real? Like, this is a real thing happening?
Yeah,
And
right.
then I started seeing people post about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's real. Like it was like a one of those moments where it's like, there's no way this is happening. Oh, it is. It did.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things like we didn't know it was happening until it like happened. It was like
Yeah, like it
it
was
was
out already. We're like, oh, cool, man.
yeah, like I think I found out from like Rock Band Twitter post. Like
Yeah.
which was really cool.
Yeah, the reason I ask is also because like I still do play the game a little less than uh like I've graduated to other games like whatever, but um you know I grew up playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band as well, and it's always it's also the reason I went to audio engineering school um because of the whole stems and all that thing. Like again, going back to how the mix is different, I noticed that as well. Like first thing hearing it in the game, I noticed that it was uh a bit different, and yeah, it was crazy to see guys in the game as well as calling on Captain. That's another one that
Oh yeah,
the,
great band.
those guys I love, of course, from here in Canada, and but yeah, like Guitar Hero and Rock Band is just like it's a great way to discover artists, and I know a few people already in the whole like Rock Band and Guitar Hero kind of community that have gone into some of your stuff and some stuff familiar to you guys, whether it be Belmont or Story So Far or whatever, uh, because of songs like yours being featured in Rock Band. So, you know,
Damn, that's really
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Do you have anything else you guys would like to ask or like put here before we wrap up?
I mean, I
Or
was
go
just
ahead,
gonna
Nathan.
say, make sure you check out the new EP, Nulla.
Yeah, out now on Fearless. Go check that out. 5 talented dudes right here.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure to yeah, stream Nulla and let us know what you think. Right?
Yes,
Comment on our post. Let me know.
yes, and also thank you, Justin, for having us on this.
No problem. Yeah, been really fun interviewing one of my favorite bands, and yeah, check out UMFM 101.5, the community and campus radio station. This is Suburban Home at Home. My show airs on Wednesdays from 1 to 2.